My Chess Career by José Raul Capablanca. Preface. If there be anything of greater interest than the records of the achievements of a man who has become great in his particular sphere of activity, it is the way in which his powers have developed. Given an insight into the different stages through which his mental development has matured, we are the better able to judge of the foundation and structure of his greatness. To the great masters of chess does this apply as much as to those of any other pursuit, and it is strange that their careers have been so little dealt with from that point of view by writers on the game. As a rule, we get little else than records of isolated instances of their skillful performances. Tournaments are held, matches take place, and the games played are published, studied, and discussed, and masters are judged by their particular achievements on a particular occasion. Thus, the important moment of development is lost sight of. Yet, how much more important is the development of genius or talent than genius and talent itself? Talent well developed produces the master. Train it badly or imperfectly, and you have the dilettante. Genius ill trained will not reach its utmost powers. Give it its proper development, and you have Capablanca. In one way, genius has the advantage over talent, that, in spite of obstacles, it will win through and assert itself. There is only one thing which will prevent its full expansion, and that is lack of education in the broader sense of culture. The writer has had many opportunities of judging of the scope of Capablanca's reading and study outside the realm of chess, and he can safely assert that those people who imagine that the ambit of his mentality is chess, that he thinks chess, dreams chess, and lives chess only, are hopelessly wrong. In fact, he devotes much less time to chess, I should say, than many an enthusiastic amateur. His interests are much broader and embrace history, art, music, science, and sport, and I believe it is this wide range of thought which has given us in Capablanca something more than a chess technician. This book then treats of the evolution of his art, if chess may be so called. Step by step, we follow the master in his career and incidentally get glimpses of the man and feeling that he is now at the height of his powers. One is almost tempted to ask, how much further can mastery go? Capablanca has been compared with Morphy, and that comparison has its justification when one considers the similarity in style of their play and the unusually early age at which they both commenced to develop. At the age of 13, we find Morphy winning games from such a seasoned player as Lowenthal. At 12, Capablanca beat the champion of Cuba in a set match. At the age of 20, Morphy overcame Anderson by 7-2 and 2 draws. At the same age, Capablanca had beaten Marshall by 8-1 and 14 draws. At the same age, Morphy won against all the masters who stood up to him, while Staunton denied him the opportunity of a match. In the same way, at San Sebastian, the strongest tournament ever held, Capablanca gained a well-deserved victory, and Lasker also, when challenged in 1911, evaded meeting him in a match, although there was some hope of these titans meeting when the war broke out. Further comparison is almost impossible and would only open the way to endless argument. If Morphy's superiority to all his contemporaries can perhaps be said to have been more definitely established, his task was undoubtedly the lighter, for in his time there were very few masters of what we should now deem the first rank. Granted that Morphy was far famed for his brilliancies, on the other hand, more opportunities for them presented themselves, because his opponents were comparatively weaker than those whom Capablanca has now to encounter. Still, whenever Morphy met a master possessed of some knowledge of positional play, he would win the game in a simple manner. As an instance, I need only name his match against Herwitz. There was hardly a brilliancy in the whole set of those 8 games. The mention here of positional play, which should be placed in a class apart from attacking play, suggests a subject of extreme importance for the consideration of chess players, and one upon which much enlightenment can be gained from the study of Capablanca's games. According to popular belief, the positional player is content to play for small tactical advantages in order to win in the long run by numerical superiority, and the attacking or imaginative player thinks little of position but devises grandiose, dashing, and spectacular attacks in order to score an early victory. Capablanca is often said to belong to the former class, and yet we find him winning brilliancy prizes in every tournament in which he takes part, and by means of most magnificent, deep, and far-seeing combinations. The truth is that a real player plays for such a position as is bound to secure a win, and only then does he devise an attack which gets home in the quickest and most direct way. If then that way comprises an artistic combination and brilliant sacrifices, the connoisseur exults, for brilliance is combined with soundness, and the result is a thing of beauty. The student will find that Morphy's brilliancies almost invariably occurred after positional superiority had been established. But to attempt an attack before that stage has been reached argues want of elementary knowledge, and can only win against inferior play. A combination embarked upon without justification by position is positively painful to the real artist in chess, and even more so if the venture succeeds. As we said before, sacrifices are largely a matter of opportunity. When Capablanca paid a visit to the Argentine, every game he played in a long sequence of wins was won by him with a sacrifice. Not the least interesting part of this book will be found in the notes to the games. Such thorough, accurate, and authoritative notes are seldom to be found, and chess players will look forward to further contributions to chess literature from the same pen, especially to Capablanca's treatise on chess, of which the first volume, Chess Fundamentals, will appear next year. No doubt, many points in Capablanca's practical play, at present beyond the understanding of many a strong player, will become clear, while after the third and last volume has appeared, the riddle of his strength may be solved for all. As regards the present volume, Capablanca has written it in an entirely objective frame of mind, and none but the unthinking will find in it a trace of conceit or self-laudation, which are entirely foreign to his nature. He speaks of himself not as a master, that were false modesty, but as one of the greatest players in the world, and this rather denotes consciousness of his powers and says barely enough. Besides, the book treats not of himself, but of the development of his playing strength. As such, it is breaking new ground and will, no doubt, provide an invaluable addition to chess literature.